do when the laws of the land conflict with the duty and relationship to God. For example, should a young man who is drafted into military service go out to war when his real Christian conviction tells him otherwise? Fortunately, in our country, such a young man with real convictions against war can be a conscientious objector. He needs not to go into the army forces to carry a gun, but he can spend uh, amount of the same amount of time as the other young men in the army, but he be assigned non-combat duty. I think any young man should be committed to that because I believe it takes courage and conviction for a young man under those circumstances to stand on his 2 feet and say, yes, I'll serve, I'll wear the uniform, but I cannot consciously carry a gun. I think that sympathy and understanding should be granted to such a young man. On the other hand, there have been many young men in this country who have run away to escape the draft. They did not run away because of religious conviction. I can't think of any other explanation than that they were disloyal to their country. They were not obedient to this nation. These young men want to enjoy all the blessing and benefits of our nation, but do not want to meet its responsibilities. They were broke. They have broken the law and should pay the penalty. We are to be subject to the principalities and powers over us. A church should teach this. Part of the message that should be given to church members is that they should be obedient to the powers that be. That obedience is not to the man that, but to the office that he represents. Perhaps you resent the matter in which a police officer gives you a citation for a traffic violation, but you should respect the uniform he wears. He represents the segment of our society that protects our persons and our property. Without them, we would be in a bad way today. This verse also raises the question of whether a Christian should go into politics or not. I believe that the individual Christian is free to go into politics, but I do not believe that the church should go into politics. If we would have a real moving of the Spirit of God, many of the men from our churches would go into these different offices in government today. A good example of this is the Wesleyan movement in England. Wesley never tried to straighten out the King of England or even the Church of England. He just went out and preached the Word of God. Men were converted. Among them were men like William Wilberforce, the great philanthropist and abolitionist. They were men who had been gamblers and drunkards with no concern for the poor until they came to know Christ. These men started the great labor movement associated with the Wesleyan revival in England, which was the beginning of the movement against child labor and the protection uh, of, uh, of workmen on the job. Do we need individuals who will enter into government and take social action, but the church as an organization is not called upon to go into politics? To be ready to every good work, the church is to instruct individuals to be eager, to be anxious, and to learn to form good works. We'll note this as we go along. Now, this is also there. Now there is also a negative side to the exhortation, and that concludes that section. Now we're going to move on